we will start looking at derivatives of inverse trig functions by first looking at the derivative of the inverse tangent function. So here we're going to find the derivative of the arctan of x. Now we're going to use this idea that the arctangent of x and the tangent of x are inverse functions. So using that inverse relationship between them, we can write that the tangent of the arctangent of x is equal to x. Now this is an equation where at least on the outside function on the left and on the right hand side we know how to take the derivative. And the derivative we're seeking is the derivative of the inside function. So if we apply chain rule to this equation, we should be able to solve for the derivative of the arctangent. So taking the derivative of both sides of the equation, applying chain rule to the left hand side, the derivative of the tangent is secant squared, keeping arctangent as its argument, times the derivative of its inside, so the derivative of the arctangent, equals 1. Now we're trying to solve for this derivative of arctangent. So if we bring the secant squared arctangent of x over to the right hand side, we will have what we are trying to find on the left. So this gives us that the derivative of the arctangent of x is equal to 1 over the secant squared of arctangent of x. Now this is kind of awkward and doesn't really help us understand what this derivative is. So we're going to try to simplify this. The first thing we're going to do is use the relationship, the identity, that secant squared x is equal to 1 plus tangent squared x. So here I've rewritten what we have. Applying our identity, our denominator will become 1 plus tangent squared of arctangent of x. So we have 1 over 1 plus tangent squared of arctangent of x. Now remember that tangent of arctangent of x is equal to x, and this squared here can be thought of as on the outside of the tangent of the arctangent. So we can replace this tangent squared arctangent of x with an x squared. So what we've solved for is that the derivative of the arctangent of x is simply 1 over 1 plus x squared. Now sometimes we have a function inside rather than just an x inside, so we want to have a more generalized derivative formula. So we can write this as the derivative with respect to x of arctangent of u, where u is a function of x, is 1 over 1 plus u squared times the derivative of u with respect to x.